We're still waiting on a couple others to join on. The topic for today is sex on the first date, before the first date, or wait. Modern dating has gotten so where it seems that everybody's in a rush to make things happen. There's very few that's still, on the side of, just take our time and see how we like each other. My whole take on sex on the first date, typically I wait. However, I think, if you're attracted to that person well enough within the first 10 minutes of your conversation. So I don't think that's ever going to be I don't think there's a downside to chemistry or whatever, or figuring out if you are going to be, attracted to one another. And I think that's all that matters in the beginning stages. Keeping that thing going is the hardest part. And, people have their different takes on whether you're dateable after sex on the first date or whatever, but I don't think it makes a difference.
Right. I don't have, you don't.
Oh, so y'all really don't believe it makes a difference?
Nah.
Depending on what your intent is.
I'm not going to.
You prefer, if that's the case, then you should have sex on the first date with everybody you have chemistry with.
No. I'm not going to make a difference in my life.
So you saying in your life it hasn't made a difference?
I don't know. I don't agree with telling people to do that. That's my thing. Like, are y'all saying this because y'all scared to hurt girls' feelings, or you really don't believe it makes a difference?
We're not telling anybody that. We're if you you confidence whether you want to put advertise and do it.
Okay, so for me, I got tired of women asking me, what would you tell your daughter to do? Right? It was just a point of, you got a daughter, you got a mama, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. So my advice all the time is what I would encourage my daughter to do. Would you encourage your daughter to have sex on the first date?
I would encourage my daughter whatever she like doing.
Yeah. Whatever she felt safe doing and comfortable with doing, that's what I would tell my daughter to do.
Right.
I don't agree with that advice at all, but that's fine.
Right, but either how you would, you know what I mean? But
I would tell my son to do the same. That's how you get baby mamas that you ain't supposed to be with. Exactly. A first date, a 2-3 hour conversation and whatever, and y'all have fun, y'all get drunk or whatever, y'all end up fucking. That's a way you have problems for life. Like, I would rather give people good advice to me.
You might have you're married to that person too.
I don't, okay, that's fine. I don't disagree with that, but my point is that I don't do exceptions to the rule. I would rather do high probabilities. So I would rather say it'd probably be better to really truly get to know that person before you have sex on the first date.
I mean, of course.
Whether it's a man or a woman.
Of course. For a moment, people, it's just like we kids, X, Y, Z, well, different. Like, so I, talk to them during the real world, and they're just gonna make their decision. Like, basically, when I educate, how to do that.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
No, it's kind of in and out.
Yeah, I can't respond to anything I can't hear.
Well, I will say this. I of course did some research on statistics, and I was reading from it's a PewResearch.org, and it was stating that 57% of women and 35% of men say they have experienced some some kind of harassing behavior from someone they were dating or been on a date with. And, you know, as a traditional way of thinking, what you're saying, I feel like is you know, on point. No, typically I don't. Like I said, I don't. When I go on a date, I'm not thinking about, we're gonna have sex tonight. No, and that's just not my way. Have I ever done it? Yeah. And how you feel afterwards is a whole nother topic. However,
How did you feel afterwards?
How did I feel afterwards?
Yeah.
More than likely, I probably didn't talk to him no more.
Why? My bad. Trying to get this on.
I wouldn't talk to him anymore because I just didn't want to, because, you know, a lot of times those things aren't discussed. Like the mind frame of the individual. A lot of guys will pressure you to have sex, but deep down they really feel like how you do.
Yeah, I mean, dudes want to have sex, but how?
And they'll pressure you, and then at the same time they'll be like, so because I understand the general mind frame of most men, I'm not even getting ready to keep on, you know, running on this hamster wheel. I'll just call you again when it's time to have sex. Other than that, ain't no more deep conversation or none of that.
So as a man, you make weight. Without respect you.
And those are the ones I make wait. The ones that I see wait. The ones I see. If I see more potential in you, I'm gonna make you wait.
Yeah, that's trash. For you to say, as a man, you think I see more potential and I'm gonna make weight, but then as a man who you making weight, I look at that like that's horrible. Like, okay, so if you didn't see more potential, I could get the same outcome that somebody you see more potential in?
Typically.
Yeah, you just said you understand the mindset of a man. What you just said has nothing to do with the mindset of the man. If you tell me that me and you are dating, and you be like, I've had one night stands, blah, 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 whatever, and I'm like, okay, cool, but we're not. And then you make me wait 3 months because of Steve Harvey, I'm just saying in general. I'm going to look at you like I'm not wasting my time, right? I might wait those 3 months and then I'll find you or to get the pussy or whatever, but I'm still going to date and fuck other women until I get what I want out of you, and then I'm not going to even take you serious.
I mean, that's, you know, to me, in that situation, that could be your loss if you're dealing with a woman that's like that.
Why is it my loss and you're willing to give it up to somebody you don't take serious?
The same reason why you give it up to somebody you don't take serious. I'm sure everybody you've had sex with is not somebody you taking serious.
Women are not the same. No, that's the same. That's not the same.
You can't box women up. You can't box women up.
Men value different things in relationships than women do. If I'm not able to provide, right, you're going to look at me like I'm not as serious the type of person you should date. If you're not able to provide for me, I still will date you because it's my responsibility to provide.
Right.
So what you're saying, it's not my loss. I take that like, all right, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? She was willing to give another dude whatever I wanted immediately and then try to make me wait and switch up the whole game for what?
Well, she might be dating at the moment and not just, you know, looking for somebody to have fun with.
Okay, that's fine. And when you want to have fun and do all these things, that mentality in itself, and y'all not listening to men, is why y'all be in bad situations. Make everybody wait. Don't switch it up because you think one dude's cool and he might not be long-time material, but you want to sit on his dick. Make everybody wait. Make everybody earn it.
Well, I mean, that's your take on it. But that's not what happens.
I'm not saying it happens. I'm saying the way y'all approach it is horrible. That's what I'm saying. I know that's not what happens. I have plenty of one-night stands. I'm saying in general, that mentality of, hey, I might not like him long-term, but I want to fuck him, does not make the man you wait feel any better.
So what would be the difference between knowing that you didn't wait?
I said make everybody wait. You gotta value yourself in a situation to where you make everybody earn that pussy. I don't want to be the guy that I gotta wait 3 months, but you let the other dude bust it down the first night. I don't want to be that guy, and I don't think no man wants to be that guy.
Right. No man wants to be that guy, but then nobody wants to be that guy that she didn't value either. Especially if he was trying to.
That doesn't make any sense either. If I get the pussy, you think I care if you value me or not? You're speaking from a female perspective, not a male perspective. I fuck a lot of women. You not give a fuck if they value me? Or do I give a fuck about getting the pussy?
And that right there, and that's why most women don't care, because that's seemingly what all men only care about.
Jesus Christ. What? I just told you to value yourself for everybody, and you said that's why most women don't care. Like, I don't.
That's why a lot of women don't care, because y'all don't care about nothing but getting it.
So okay, then make us work for it.
But then you're not interested once you do get it. I mean, you just said that. So what difference does it make? So everybody should be able to live their life and do what they want to do without any judgment.
Man, that any judgment shit is what kids think. We're always judging you. Like, stop that. Like, nobody thinks like.
Just like we're always judging y'all.
That's fine. But from every moment, every human being who meets you is judging you. If they tell you they're not, they're lying.
And that's true. That's true. But still, can you still move with them without having any type of reservations about what you really, or what you may have thought, or the prejudices you might have about how they moved?
I don't understand the question. Elaborate it a little more.
I'm saying, when you see a person move a particular way, or they engage in a particular activity, is it not right that you have a certain prejudice about how they move? And if you have that prejudice.
What do you mean it's not right? Is it not right?
What I'm saying is, because based off of what you're saying is that you make a woman wait, or a woman makes you wait, and then from you waiting on her, you're no longer interested after she finally gives it to you.
No, I said Jesus Christ. No,
that's what you said.
If I know. No, I'm saying if I know you're always busting it open, or you're busting open for another dude without him giving the same effort that you're making me give, then I'll just play the game and get what I want to get out of the situation. But if I know you value yourself and you make everybody wait, then it's a reason. It's premium pussy. It's a reason that I should value you more.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. And this is what I've learned. This was after years of being married, counseling other couples, listening to, people that went through all that. I found that more women that waited on that so-called premium pussy wasn't happy with that premium pussy after they got married to it. And that was supposed to be the only pussy they was getting.
You said more women. Are you saying more men or women?
More men were not so excited about having the pussy that was so premium, because they had to teach them how to do everything. They were apprehensive about doing everything. No, they don't want it in this hole, or no, they don't want to do this. No, they're not going to do it like that, because they just didn't have that experience. Certain stuff they just didn't go through.
Okay, so I need you to experience other men, right? While we're dead, getting fucked in the ass and all.
I ain't saying all that. But what I found was more men became unhappier a lot sooner in their relationships because they waited on that woman that did not do that.
I think the advice you're giving is horrible. You're telling me that
I'm not giving any advice.
If you're not willing to do it with me, then I might not be that person. If you're not willing to go and be the freakiest person with me, and I'm willing to give you the world, then that's on you.
Right.
But you're saying if you have more experience as a woman with other dudes and you was willing to give them that shit, but not me, that means I'm just not your person.
And that very well may be the case. And you know, everybody walks away having got something out the deal, and you keep moving forward.
But I'm saying your advice is to say, or you're saying basically that if you have sex with somebody early, you might not see nothing in him. But if it's somebody you be like, yo, I like him, I think he's dope, I'm gonna make him wait. You think men respect that?
It depends on the individual, cause some men out here ain't tripping about it. Some men don't care.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Some men don't care.
This is why I don't like talking to women. Like it's never a point blank conversation. It's always it depends on the individual.
Because everything's relative. You can't make everything concrete, and this is the only way. This is the only way it goes. Everything's relative.
That's overall situation.
Yeah, and in general, what you're saying is, in general, that may be the case, what you're saying. However, what I've also understood and what I've also learned is that all good girls got a secret. You just may not know. You just may not be, you know what I'm saying, knowledgeable about whatever it is that she's been through, what she's done in her life. She might be secretive about it. Whatever the case may be.
Then a man should go in the situation thinking every girl's a slut.
But then that brings the woman to the point of believing or going by the whole mentality of all men are dogs, and which is not true. So all women are not sluts.
I'm fine with whatever. What you're saying is every good girl got a secret. You keep making and switching and shifting the goalposts to make your point feel like it's fitting. I'm saying make everybody wait. That's what I'm saying.
And if you can successfully make that a standard for even just a solid group of people, a solid group of women, then you'll have heaven on earth.
It's not heaven on earth. It's just choices.
But it's not going to be the case, because at the end of the day, even Jesus came to the defense of a woman who was so-called an adulteress.
That's fine, dude.
You know what I'm saying? So who is anybody to be?
Every man I encounter that anticipate that whoever you're talking to is a slut. So treat them accordingly.
And she might want to be your personal slut, but that don't mean she's fucking everybody else.
Why not?
What you mean? Why not?
I'm saying, why would not go into this? Your pessimistic thinking is perfectly fine. Every good girl got a secret. But if I switch that and tell every man to think every girl's a slut, then it's a problem. Nobody
is without wrongdoing. If you want to look at it from a biblical perspective, nobody is without sin. Nobody is perfect. Everybody done been through something, done something. If they haven't, I guarantee you, they just been completely sheltered. And most guys that been seasoned out here and been doing certain stuff, they don't want that woman that's just been sitting around doing nothing their whole life. Because she lacks a lot of experience. Some things he gonna feel like she just supposed to know that she's more than likely just not going to know. I couldn't hear you.
How do you know what men want? How do you know that I need a girl who's super seasoned sexual?
You said, how do I know?
You don't think men will be perfectly fine teaching her what he likes?
But most women are not. And what I'm telling you is that over the years of me being married, going through different things, talking to most men that are married that have been through certain things, they're not happy with somebody that ain't never experienced anything, because they got to teach them too much.
That's happy. Every conversation comes to you about people not being happy. Have you talked to anyone that's happy?
Oh, absolutely.
And what was their outcome?
One thing for certain about the people that are happy, I'm going to say this, is that you typically don't know what's going on with them. They pretty much resolve a lot of their issues amongst themselves. The people that appear happy, because nobody's completely happy.
So okay. So you're
gonna go through trials. You're gonna go through certain things. You're gonna go through struggles. Period.
All right, that's fine.
Every moment's not gonna be peaceful and happy. And let's define happy. What do you mean happy?
You define it. Women are the ones who always worry about being happy. From what I see, men don't even concern themselves with always being happy. It's about duty and a bigger purpose. So you tell me. You're the one saying most men in these situations aren't happy. So tell me.
Well,
anybody who is happy.
Well, and when the marriage is going sour, it's the man that's talking about the lack of happiness, and the woman that's talking about the lack of duty.
So if that's the case, then why do women in this?
And going into it, yeah, the woman's talking about happiness, and the man's talking about duty.
So why do women initiate divorce 80% of the time and 90% of the time if they?
Because somebody's not doing their duty, and most of the time she's overworked.
Doing your duty leads to what? Unhappiness.
Absolutely.
So it's always men not doing their duty, and that's why divorce is so high.
I ain't gonna say always.
These conversations are ignorant to me. All right. What's the next topic?
But in most cases, when women are initiating it, it's something he's not doing.
Who you talk to that's happy?
I've talked to quite a few happy couples, but guarantee you they just didn't wake up happy and been happy the whole time being married.
So in those happy situations, was the dude like, oh man, I didn't give a fuck who she fucked with before, and I don't care if she had so many one night stands. Is that what the answer?
I never asked any questions like that.
Why? Happy couples don't even talk about that. Maybe they
absolutely, and that's what I said. They don't even discuss certain things. You're not even gonna know, even though you may personally know about what that girl did because you probably was doing it with her. Damn it, though, they're not gonna sit up there and discuss none of that stuff. It's nobody's business what they're doing in their marriage and how they are maintaining their marriage.
If it's nobody's business on what they do to maintain their marriage, the ones who are quote unquote unhappy, telling you all their business might be the problem.
And it very well could be. That could be part of the problem. It could be. But who knows?
All right. So everything you say on this podcast, please give your advice to your daughters.
Oh, I do.
All right, that's fine.
So, hold on real quick, because I had a bullet point. So, in most cases, though, we think that sex on the first date leads to a relationship. You kind of already answered that from your perspective. But have you ever been in a relationship with a woman that you had sex with on the first date?
Yes.
Why didn't her having sex with you on the first date change your perception about her?
We dated for about a year, and me and her being cool, that's what got us in a relationship. But also, I never really committed to her either. And then probably the fact that we had sex so early was probably a big factor, subconsciously. But were we cool? Yeah, we were cool. So what?
So you really kind of wasted her time then?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we still have these reservations in our mind, but we might like the person so well that we say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and take a stab at it. But we gotta still constantly fight those prejudices and those judgments that we have of a person that did go ahead and give it to us on the first day, or that we did go ahead and sleep with. And this is typically that part right there is why I don't.
Why do men have to fight the prejudice and injustice? No, we don't. Why do we have to fight it?
Because women are fighting it. Because in the back of her mind, she's saying, "Oh my God, he gonna think I'm a hoe because I gave him, I fucked him on the first date."
And you're probably a hoe.
Could be not. Maybe just was just weak at the moment. I couldn't hear you.
Is it a prejudice if it's a fact?
Is it a prejudice? No, it's not a prejudice if it's a fact. However, sometimes it's not a fact, and it's just a prejudice.
Then my advice works more than anything. Make everybody wait.
Then there's gonna be a whole lot of sexless having people around here.
How? If they value you, you will see quickly if they value you. If they don't.
You know why and how? Because they're gonna go somewhere else. Because everybody's not gonna just keep it to themselves.
So again, how is that a bad thing? Is that not showing you that they don't value you from that jump?
It's too many people that's doing it than people that are not. So how do you combat that? Tell me, how do you combat that? How do you wage, because, and you talk about the competition all the time and the fighting for a position and all that kind of stuff that I don't believe in personally. But how do you wage a battle or wage war with a situation where you have 50% of the single women that's out here throwing it at you, probably 20% of married women that's throwing it at you. Then you got these other single women that's just holding it and keeping it. And then while you done ran through these married women, the single women that's throwing it around, now you want to go get the woman that's been sitting around chased the whole time.
Yeah. What are you saying? I don't get what you're saying.
What do you mean you don't get what I'm saying?
You're saying that if I run through all these women and I still want the woman who is chased.
What makes her feel valued that she done took a man that's ran through?
You think women care about a man being ran through?
I mean, some women do. Some women do. Number one, because they don't want to be a part of the popularity contest. They don't want to be a part. They don't want to be on the elbow of a man that 75,000 women done already said, "Oh, I done had him. I know what that's like." Or he was just in my inbox last week.
Okay, so in that percentage, fine. If I ask you your top 5 things you want in a husband, would that be top 5?
Would that be top 5? Yeah, because I don't want a popular ass man. Period. I don't want to. If I get with somebody to actually marry them, I don't want somebody that everybody knows from being in the bed with them.
Okay, then that's your preference.
That's absolutely, and it's so many men out here that's like that. You know what I mean? So I don't. You know what I mean?
Stop. That's not true. 80% of men don't get no attention from women. So therefore, go get that 80% who you might think is corny or ain't got swag or...
Absolutely. Them will be the ones. They'll be the corny ones without swag. Absolutely.
Make them better and make your way. You wait to be happy with it.
I mean, that's the only option for the woman that waits.
That's not the only option. She doesn't want to make this experience. Women want men who are more experienced than a man who wants a woman who's more experienced.
Absolutely, I agree with that as well, and I said that in the last podcast. So,
and then that's fine. But if you gonna go for the top 5 to 15% of men, you gotta understand they're gonna be more experienced. You can keep placing men and women on the same level, like everything we do is the same, and it's not.
I know, I didn't say that. But I'm saying our ability to consider and to overlook certain things. There's a lot of things that women have to overlook being with a man. I don't care what you say. Why do you think women are so insecure? Why do you think that when women get with a particular type of man, she has so many insecurities and then she's crying and she's whining all the time? And y'all always mad and talking about she's nagging and this, that, or whatever. Because she's insecure because she married a hoe. You said what?
Do you hear what you're saying? Listen, her insecurities are her insecurities. Fix your insecurities within yourself. If her insecurities are a man's fault, but if I'm insecure, it can't be your fault.
Nah, nobody said that.
Nowadays, you going to the club you're doing whatever, and you tell me I'm insecure because I don't like.
Once you're married, you both help work on that. There's a great majority of that you are responsible for individually. But when you become married, there are certain things that you need to do to reassure. This is why a lot of people who've been married don't want to get married again. And those that do jump right back into marriage is because guess what? That's just what they're used to.
So that's fine. Don't get married.
After my 22 years of marriage, I'm not looking to get married no time soon. And if I did, I wouldn't even want to live under the same roof. Honestly.
You either. Like everything's always a man's fault. Like we can never have.
That's not true.
Everything comes to me, and I got to be responsible for everything, and I got to sit here and listen to everything you say that you bring to the table and all this other shit. I wouldn't want to be in that situation either.
I get it. And women don't like that either. Women don't like always having to feel like that she's the lesser species in the situation, or you know what I'm saying? She's the least significant in the situation because maybe she doesn't bring the most finances to the table or something.
You think women actually believe they're the least significant in a marriage?
Yeah, especially if you got a man that leaves when he wants to. Especially if you got a man that doesn't listen to how you feel, and he tells you your insecurities are your own problem. Hell yeah, you do. And then on top of that, you're trying to manage children. If you got children, you're trying to wrangle these babies and keep their personalities in check because it's a lot to deal with.
I don't care about that. You act like fathers don't do nothing. I'm fine with that. Who cares? I'm saying, how are your insecurities not your problem?
I'm not saying they aren't my problem. But let's take this off of me for once. Because I'm speaking in general about men, and you keep bringing this to me. My perception is from a lot of counseling that I've done. My perception is from a lot of just experiences that I have had. But it's not all me. It's a lot of research that I've done, books that I've read, different things like that. I don't come just with my own experiences.
If married people go to counseling, what is that an indication of?
That usually that there's a problem, but I always suggest you go to counseling before you even have problems.
What about those ones? Do you come to those people?
What about what?
What about the ones that's not going to counseling? What about the ones that are actually doing good in marriage? Do you have conversations with those people?
A lot of times, yeah. I mean, yeah, when I was married, I did.
Never speak on them. All your conversations about how men are fucked up and how everything's fucked up. It's like you've never seen anybody in a good relationship.
That's not true. However, the great majority of what our community suffer from are the bad relationships and what causes them to go bad, and that's why we're here addressing them.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I praise the men that do well, you know, and I applaud them publicly, all that. You know what I mean? I don't see anything wrong with that. But, you know, typically what we see the great majority of are relationship problems.
I don't see that.
We don't see the majority of the relationships, you know, are marriages and stuff that are lasting.
I see marriages lasting.
There are some. But any of them that are lasting that got married back in, you know, in the 90s that you know?
Yes.
And what's the majority? What is the statistically, how many is it versus the ones that are not, that didn't make it? There was a lot of people that got married, you know what I'm saying, that I know in the 90s, early 2000s and stuff, but they not now.
Okay, you want to talk about that and focus on that energy instead of asking people who made it and giving them good advice.
We can do that all day long. We can do that. I mean, we can do that all day long, but a lot of people aren't willing to accept that because what men say that they want is really not what they're willing to keep.
Explain that.
You want a woman that's going to give you sex on the first night. But then you don't want to battle in your mind. She probably did that to every nigga she been with.
What makes you think a man wants a woman that's gonna give him sex on the first night and not just want sex on the first night? Do you understand the difference?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying just like when we discussed just discussed the relationship that you were in, and I said, so you kind of wasted her time because she gave it to you on the first night. You still kind of had reservation, but you still weren't all the way into it and you think primarily because she gave it up on the first night. Men tell women and convince us and pressure us to think that this is what you want, and I'm so into you, and this, that, or whatever. Then they get it, and then they act like whatever.
What to do? For women, that's crazy to me. Because all you ever say is a man can't tell me what to do. And then when something happens, you want no accountability for the choices that you make.
No, that's not true.
You make that
It's not that now I don't stand for that. A woman has to take her own accountability in that. And that's where I take my accountability. If I gave it up to you, if I give it up to somebody on the first night, guarantee you I'm not going to talk to him no more. About nothing else but giving it to him again. That's it. Ain't nothing else to talk about. Ain't no sense, because I already know he's going to be battling that in his mind of, did she do this with every other guy? Does she do this all the time? I'm not even going to let you have to face those insecurities with me. I'm just going to go ahead and let you go your way.
And then you make another nigga wait. Who you think is worth waiting for?
No, because, people are, and like I said, I've done it before. That's like nothing I regularly do. But if I did that, the person that I've done that with, I'm not talking to you no more. Except about that.
So that's fine. So, but the guy that you like, you're going to switch everything up.
No. Typically, the way I move, nobody gets it. Me personally, if this is about me, let's make this about me. If that's what I choose to do, I'll do it because I'm grown. I take care of myself, pay my own bills. Ain't nobody accountable for nothing that goes on around here but me. However, if I choose to do that as a grown-ass woman, I can do that. However, typically, I'm not sleeping with nobody on the first night. No, because because at the end, the long and short of it is, most men, that's what they bring to the table, and that's what they want to be able to say. They use to dictate whether or not. Nobody pays my bills over here, so nobody can judge me, say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying? You can do all that, but do that over there. You don't have nobody can dictate anything that goes on around here. So whatever I choose to do is on my own recognizance, on my own everything.
That's fine. I agree with everything you just said. So don't say men pressure you into doing anything. Men do this. Men do that. You talk that grown talk, but your big girl panties on and be grown here.
I don't have no problem doing that.
You do. You blame men for everything.
No, I don't. How?
All right. Again, steps before on the first day, I've done it a million times. I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying a woman should make everyone wait. That's my assessment.
Most women I know, percentage-wise to the amount of dudes that probably want them versus who they actually give it to, they're making most men wait. It's probably only 5% of the men that's actually ever make the connection.
I ain't hearing anything till my phone was ringing. What'd you say?
I said majority of the women I know, they're probably making about 95% of the men that come to them wait. The ones that I know.
But that's fine. And then here's what they do. You're 100% right.
That 5% of the men, 5% of the men that are attracted to them and push themselves on them, those are the ones that probably do get through the cracks.
So the 5% that get through the cracks, women say that's what you refer to as men. Oh, y'all want to do this, y'all doing this, y'all doing that. When in reality, 95% was willing to wait.
They had no choice because we wasn't giving it to them.
You're making my point. So you take the 5% and then say all men are the 5%. When in reality, 95% of them were willing to give you whatever you wanted to wait and do whatever they had to do.
And what are you saying?
I'm saying you, not you, women will take and base the 5% of bad decisions they make and say that's on men. When it's actually a lot of men that will be willing to do whatever you ask them to do because you are the gatekeepers of sex.
Absolutely.
So don't say, well, men gonna do this. Men know that 5% is.
I'm gonna say that's been my experience with men. What you're saying is true on that part, and that has been my experience with men. Majority, for the great majority. However, I do not knock anybody that decides that they want to just go do whatever they do and spend, pivot.
Why don't you knock them?
Why don't I knock them? Because it's their business. I don't have nothing to do with that. Even when I do it, it's my business, and I don't want nobody saying nothing to me or about me because I decided to knock somebody off in the first night.
That's why. Because you want to have the ability to do the same fuck shit.
Absolutely. If I decide to do that, that's my prerogative.
It's that shit from the jump. You don't want to knock them because you still want to have the opportunity to do the same fuck shit, and you don't want nobody to knock you.
Just like anybody else.
I can't do fuck what you knock me about. If I'm doing fuck shit and know it's fuck shit, I'm gonna say it's fuck shit.
And then guess what? I don't have a problem admitting it either.
You don't want to be judged.
Who does? You know what I mean? Because it's not anybody's job to judge me. If I don't have any interpersonal dealings with you, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not doing nothing to you personally. There's no reason for you to have anything to say about me. I treat you with kindness. I expect you to treat me with kindness, and that's it.
That's not how the world works. Everybody judges you.
Well, that's fine, but however, there's a fine line between judging and being disrespectful because... What'd you say?
You're basically saying you live in a Disney delusional world.
No, I don't.
Everybody judges you. It's a lot. And probably who judges you most harshly is women.
That could be true.
Because you say in your mind, you can't judge me, it does not mean they're not judging you.
But guess what? Most women can't judge because they do the same shit. Or have done the same shit.
If I'm a slut after a woman, I can still call you a slut.
I mean, that's, that don't make me feel no kind of way.
It's just because you don't want to be judged. If you don't want to be judged, don't do things to get judged for.
If you sit in the house and don't do nothing, people are going to judge you. Girl, you need to get your ass out the house, your boring ass. Well, come on now.
Don't give them the space and energy and the opportunity to do something.
I'm going to do what I want to do. Me personally, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Want the space and opportunity to do fuck shit, and then you can't judge it.
I mean, that's your personal opinion. You know what I mean? Some men don't want to be tied to a woman, and some...
Nothing I said was opinionated. I said, be mindful. If you don't want to be judged, don't do fuck shit. And then because you can't accept it, you discredit what I'm saying.
I'm not. I didn't discredit it. I just said that's your opinion.
Don't do shit to get judged for it.
And like I just said, no matter what you do, you're going to be judged. It don't matter. You can mind your business, don't do nothing but go to work and come home. People are still going to judge you.
Exactly.
And whatever they don't know about you, they're going to make it the hell up.
But is the judgment true or not?
It doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter. Because I've heard stuff about myself that just wasn't even true.
Tell me about little big energy. I come off like RuPaul. That nigga might be gay. Who hurt you? Blah, blah. None of that shit affects me in the slightest. Because none of it's true.
And I'm the same way.
No, you are worried about being judged.
No, I'm not.
All right, this conversation's crazy. All right.
No. How am I worried about being judged? You know what? I do stuff too publicly, and I'm too out in the open for myself to be worried about people judging me. I wrote a whole book about my life and different things. A lot of the mistakes and the lack of accountability that I've had in my life over the years, especially while I was married. I wrote a whole book about it. It's for people to judge. I don't care. Me personally, I don't care about nobody judging me.
You say you people can't judge you?
You said what?
Then why do you say that people can't judge you and you can do whatever you want to do?
What I'm saying, well, let me say this. People can say what they want, but they can never make a fair and accurate judgment of me until they really get to know me. People can say whatever they want about the next person, but until they really, because I can give you scenarios and circumstances about things that I've done, but you don't know completely what my mindset or what my intention was, what the whole scenario was, what the backstory to it was. You can't make a fair or accurate judgment of anybody.
So if I grew up in the hood and I start selling crack, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get caught.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to the judge and tell him, well, you don't understand my circumstances. I'm gonna pay your rent sometimes. My lights are off. I'm hungry, so I needed to like help and do something. So I went to the street to start making money.
Mm-hmm.
Is the judge gonna give me a sentence?
Depending on your background, sometimes they will give you a lighter sentence.
Am I still going to jail?
You're probably going to do some sort of time. They probably not going to dismiss it unless.
So, did they know everything about me? No. Did they make a judgment? Because I got caught with a key of coke. Yes.
In some scenarios, and not to discredit nothing that you're saying, but when you have a trained set of eyes, sometimes you can look at situations and people and know, just based off of what's apparent or what's right here readily seen, you pretty much know, you can about determine what the backdrop is, or what because in some cases I've seen it where judges, they'll ask, well, what was your upbringing like, or what happened before this, or what, they want to know.
So in my situation, let's say, this is not me personally, let's say I grow up, I got a single mother, and I see men coming in and out the house all the time, right? And it just made me not respect women at all. And I get married to you, and I cheat on you, and I'm a consistent person who's dogging you out and treating you like those men treat my mother. Does my reason for doing it matter to you?
Yeah, it does. And it would cause me to be a lot more patient with you. And I would try to help you get assistance, get counseling. And if you don't do that, then it'll be time for me to cut you off.
Why cut me off?
What'd you say?
Why cut me off?
What do you mean? Because after a certain time, especially once it's been pointed out and you've seen the damage that it has caused, your own current, adult relationship, it's time to check that. It's time to do something about it. You got to take some accountability as an adult and fix that.
That's fine. I don't believe you at all, but that's fine.
You don't have to. But I know me, and I guarantee you, we can go off of here, and I can point you to references.
That's fine.
That to attest to my character when it comes to that.
If I'm a good person or not. I grew up in a two-parent home and I cheated on most of the girls I talked to.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that. Absolutely.
I was on fuck shit. I was the one saying, I wanted more pussy, I did all that. And it's me. It had nothing to do how I seen a perfect marriage or a perfect anything. It was all me being selfish.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all it is. And that's what you got to get to the root of. But people wear these different layers and these different masks. They put on these different, putting on different layers of clothes and say, well, it's this why I did this, that. You want to blame everything but yourself. Everything we do is, we have to take our own accountability for everything that we do. We can look, well, I can't say this though. Ultimately, it's us. But when we get into long-term relationships and marriages and stuff like that, you both have to take some accountability for each other. Some, not all, but you have to take some.
I'm not taking any accountability for you. And you're asking. Take accountability for what I done. You chose to do what you wanted to do.
If you want to make it work, you're gonna take some accountability for it.
No,
and you're gonna be able to say, you know what? I didn't do this. I'm gonna.
How I take accountability for your actions.
Okay, maybe I'm using the wrong word. Maybe I should say some responsibility.
Accountability, responsibility.
They are the same thing, but at the same time, the responsibility part is a response to it. To how and it could be the way that you react to hearing this. Oh, damn, he cheated on me. So you can't respond the same way. You can't respond to that in a negative way if you want things to work.
Give me an example of me taking responsibility for your actions.
Being proactive and trying to help a person be, go get counseling, for instance.
How is that me taking responsibility for your actions? How do you learn if you're not taking responsibility for your own actions?
You have to. Everybody has to take responsibility and accountability for their own action. Everybody has to. But I, as a helpmate, me knowing what resources you can go to, that's like saying, oh, okay, well, I know my man is struggling on his on paying part of the rent or this, that, or whatever. And if I can't come through with it, I find a resource to figure out what way we can both come fix it.
So if you can't help pay the rent, cool, and you don't help, and I figure out a way to get it done.
Or you don't.
So how do you take responsibility for my actions?
What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, it's something that affects both people. Okay. The action is something that affects the whole.
Let's say we're in a relationship and you absolutely get on my nerves. Like, absolutely.
That's fine. Yeah, right. That happens.
Right? And I cheat on you. Are you going to say, well, I have been nagging him. I have been not giving him no pussy. I have been an asshole most of the time. Are you going to take responsibility, or are you going to be like, why did you cheat on me?
That's the first thing women do, is blame themselves.
Okay.
That's the first thing. What did I do? What did I do wrong? And if he's upfront about it, which he should be, but that's still not him taking accountability, because whether she was doing that or not, you know what I mean? That is something he should have been explaining to her before he went out and cheated.
But it wasn't explaining to. Because from what I see, there's no talking to women about shit because they make it about them. So what if he was explaining to? What if I'm being open and upfront about my...
Well, that's completely on her. She should have fixed that shit.
And if she didn't fix it, right, and I cheat, he's going to say it was my fault he cheated.
Okay, so then what did she do then? Just start trying to give it to you every day? But by that point, you're probably turned off and probably into whoever you're dealing with.
In the scenario, I'm asking.
I'm just asking how to remedy it. Because I don't even know how we got on this.
We're talking about accountability and responsibility.
Right.
I'm not taking accountability for your actions. You're going to do what you want to do.
Yeah, anybody can do what they want to do. Everybody should be able to do whatever they want to do.
No.
Yeah. I mean, who's going to stop them? Who am I to try to tell somebody you can't do that? You shouldn't do that. That's your business. If they come to me for advice and say, how should I be? Or, I don't know how to move with this situation, I'm going to give them proper advice. But however, you can do it like this too, and this is what you're going to come with. Everybody's free to do what they want to do.
That's not what you said. You said everybody should do what they want to do. I don't think that's...
Everybody should be able to do whatever they want to do without any kind of, you know what I'm saying? They should.
It's boundaries and rules in place. And even in the law. Like, what you're saying is not even logical. Even in the law, I can't speed because it's a law.
For a good reason.
Because it's a law. If I want to kill you, I shouldn't be able to do it because it's a law. I should go to jail. It's consequences.
True. That's true.
You should show some restraint. Especially if you make a commitment to somebody.
I agree. But most people don't. Most of the time, not. And that's what we're, an examination of the relationship has to come in.
So what would you encourage people to do? Would you encourage them to like think about like the situation and think about the commitment, or would you say you should do what you want to do?
No, I would say think of if you signed up to be locked in a relationship, marriage, or whatever. Yeah, most definitely you should really think about that. You should re-examine the relationship. Probably go as far as the first day and talk about your feelings, the thought processes, all that stuff. Don't leave nothing untouched. Try to be as thorough as possible.
That I agree with. So let's get back to the very right?
Yeah.
So let's get to the very beginning. This is why you shouldn't have sex on the first night. Because you didn't give it enough time to vet that person.
But what I was explaining was if you already know you're not going to want to be in a long-term anything with this person, why the fuck does it matter?
Because the next person you talk to, it matters. You gotta value yourself.
You know what? I'm going to agree to disagree on that. Because women feel the same way. Even though, for a lot of women, that's not what they do. I'm going to tell you something.
Alright, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm going to agree to disagree, though. You know what I'm saying? Because I done seen too many times when
you still do the same shit. It never fails.
It does. Listen, I done seen too many times where women done not value that in a man and then ended up in ruin because they didn't value his virtue.
Okay, fine.
He didn't value it.
Okay, fine. You're gonna find every exception to the rule instead of telling
it's the same. The rule is not no different. I don't believe, even when it comes to God's law, there is no rule that makes it any different about the man doing anything different. And if a man is going to carry multiple women, he should be taking care of all of them. He should just be running around sleeping with them.
No, ask women, what are the top 5 things you value in a man? Don't say anything on that. Just ask women, what are the top 5 things you value in a man? And I guarantee them not having a high body count wouldn't even come up.
Probably not, because that's not what we're thinking about. You know, we judge people most people judge people off of how they look at themselves. And this is why women don't feel like that her body count should be questioned when it comes to coming into a relationship, because she's not going to question his, because that was before me. However, when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, when you really get down to it and look at it, it does kind of matter because it can be a problem. It can be a problem.
You like we need to listen and be like y'all. The person we're not going to mention anything about a protector or provider.
It just
not going to be in our top 5.
But guarantee you, he cannot adequately protect, provide, be a stable, secure person, having all those insecurities about whoever she was with before then, or thinking, what if she was with this person, or I wonder what the relationship was between her and him, or did she let him nut on her face, or whatever the hell.
To you.
You said what?
I was wondering, what does security look like for a woman?
Security looks like I don't have to have any concern about anything that goes on outside of here. Anything that goes outside of the walls of my home, and me getting from one task to the next, I don't have any type of distractions. He doesn't have any type of distractions that's going to inhibit or prohibit us from moving in that direction. Whatever goals we are setting to accomplish, we are struggling and accomplishing them together. That's what security looks like. I don't have to worry. I'm at peace, and I have. You said what? Providing protection. Yeah.
Okay. So security for a man is saying, I don't want to be out, and this woman has had sex with all these dudes, or this dude got something way easier than I had to work for. That's security in a man. Security in men and women are totally different. So for you to literally keep saying you shouldn't worry about my past is ignorant to me.
I mean, that's your feelings. That's just men's feelings. You know what I mean?
When men tell you this, you won't listen and try to tell them what they should think. We don't do that. We gotta tell you exactly what it is, and we adjust to it. But again, it's my preference, like it's most men's preferences. So fine, tell women to keep doing stupid shit, and then they continue to be lonely. You ain't got to listen to anything men say. And I'm
Yeah, you're right.
So, no matter what's said on this podcast, I see now that everything is always goes to the exception to how you feel. So it's literally a woman's conversation.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. Your point matters. You know what I mean? Your point matters. There are a group of people that think like you. There are some people that think like me. And it's about respecting that. Everybody's not going to fall into the category that's a female of what you believe a female should do and how they think and how they should behave.
I didn't say what they should do and what they think or what they
I'm not the type of woman that you would pick, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Men think. That's it. You don't have to listen.
To who?
I'm telling you how men think.
Oh, I get what I get what you're saying. So you're saying every single man you know, every single man in the world thinks like that.
If a man was presented with the option, yeah. Men have to settle for certain situations because we don't get the options. If you telling me if I was able to get, let's say Rihanna, a billionaire, and she's only had sex with 2 people over Beyonce, who's a billionaire, and she's had sex with 100 people, you really think most men wouldn't choose Rihanna?
I mean, you know, I don't know. Probably so.
Presented with these options, so men. I mean, it's funny how women think they settle more. Oh, I had to settle, blah, blah, blah. Y'all got way more options than men. So men literally have to settle for, like, whatever woman or whatever stature of woman that they can get. It does not matter. So if it's that thing, most men will settle and say, well, because they don't have the options. But if a man was presented with different options, they're going to choose the...
Women, you're going to settle for something. Ain't nobody going to be that whole package. Everybody's not going to check out. You ain't going to find somebody going to check every single one of your boxes.
You're asking me what most men think. I'm telling you, if a man was presented with different options in the same person, they're going to take the better option.
I get that. And in a world where sexual freedom is the order of the day, there's going to be a lot of men that are going to be taking the option of settling. And somebody's wife is going to have a higher body count than what he think she should have. I'm just sorry. Especially if the principle of being married is more important, he's gonna have to settle probably, or be single.
If he was presented with the same woman with less body, he's gonna pick the one with less body.
I guarantee you. You're gonna choose. It's not gonna be 100% this or that. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be a complete package. And if it is, just give it some time, and I promise you.
I'm saying, you asked me, do most men think about these things? If they're presented with the same option in a woman, if she has less bodies, she's gonna take the less bodies every single time. But a lot of times we're not.
Right.
Sometimes the girl might be pretty, or she might be this, or she might whatever, and we take it and accept it. But if we had the same exact option and a woman with less bodies, we take it in less bodies.
Right. And I get that.
So again, you don't have to listen to men, but I would give my daughter the same advice. Value yourself, make everybody wait. Don't jump into no situation sexually. Soul ties are real.
Soul ties are very real.
STDs are real. Babies are real. we start teaching sex as a responsibility over empowerment and a good feeling, then things will change. But what we do and what we say is, well, I mean, sometimes you just might want to do this. And, like, that shouldn't even be an option. You shouldn't teach that as an option.
I mean, in a traditional way of thinking, no.
Why does it have to be traditional? Why do you think traditions even were created?
I think people should, within their own parameters, with their own boundaries, be able to create whatever reality they want.
Why do you think traditions were created?
To pass down to for later generations.
For what?
To keep the morale of a community and to, keep the structure and, I mean, I understand, I overstand where you're getting at. But
traditions were created to keep pushing forward humanity, and people made the mistakes of doing things like being willy-nilly sexually and living in chaos and all this crazy shit. And then somebody came in with a system that was like, this is the best overall system that can actually put everybody in the...
So who's passing this tradition down? Who's passing these traditions? And this is why y'all so angry with women, because they like, fuck it, I'm just about to do this. I'm about to express sexual freedom. Because guess what? They the only ones that are required to keep the banner high. We're required to keep the standard high. Don't pass this down. Don't teach this. Don't teach that. But the men do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Listen, it's probably been my last podcast with you. These conversations.
I'm just asking a question. And that's fine.
No. Men created these traditions because men know that without women, men are not going to do the shit. So we make y'all be the more innocent and prize-worthy people, so men will adjust and act accordingly to whatever it is y'all need y'all to do. When y'all living in total chaos, society's in chaos.
Who's living in
when conditions are created, they're created because other men from the past see bad things happen and says, this is probably the best overall situation for the community. You just agreed to that. When you said we're upset with women, you can listen. The top 5 to 15% of men are not upset at all. Y'all just made it 10 times easier for us to smash without even doing any type of commitment.
right.
Nobody's mad. We just don't want society in chaos.
Well, that's what creates the chaos.
No, see what chaos is coming from, and we try to hold the chaos, and y'all saying y'all don't want any responsibility at all.
So the chaos don't come from men. So what you're saying is the chaos don't come from men. The chaos comes from women.
What I'm saying is,
I asked the question.
Yeah, the feminine symbol is chaos. So if men don't know that, we can teach and encourage women to be more modest, because men are smart enough to understand other men are going to do whatever it takes to get women. So if you put men in a position to do whatever it takes to get women, make sure women are more modest. Because then we get hard. That is the power of women own. You don't want the power. That ain't easy. Like I said, let me start something. It's never been easier to get pussy. I can easily shut the fuck up and fuck y'all all the time. But I choose to tell y'all the truth because society's on the brink of collapse.
That's true.
I think this is power. It's just a good thing. It's nothing. But make it easy for rich and top 15 to tell 5% of men to fuck.
And I mean, you got a point. You have a point as far as, society being, on the brink of collapse. That's true. But women aren't the only ones that need to be held accountable for it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No.
I said hold men accountable. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand.
I didn't hear you say that.
I said my son the same thing. I literally said that's how you get ignorant baby mamas. Did I not say that? Did I not say I think men should be honorable? I didn't say men should fuck everything. I just said literally. I can easily go around and fuck whoever I want to and be quiet. But the honorable thing to do is tell the truth because society's on the brink of collapse.
That and you were saying that about yourself personally, right?
I tell men to do this all the time. But when I say that, you're unresponsive. Man, need to be accountable too. No shit.
That was all I was saying in the beginning. That's all I was saying before.
No. I said that. The first thing I said, I wouldn't tell my son to do it either. And then what did I say? Teach sex as a responsibility. Did I not say that?
But you can't say teach your son. You can't teach your son that, and you're not holding yourself to it. What kind of sense does that make?
I'm asking, how do you know what I'm not holding myself to?
I mean, I'm just saying because you clearly explained.
If I said I fucked up a million times, and because I fucked up, I don't want the people behind me to fuck up, and I accept whatever. If I never get married or anything, and never have kids, I understand I made bad decisions younger, but I don't want that to happen to the youth. So I'm going to tell them the truth.
Okay, well that you know what that's a lot more palatable. I can take that a little bit better because that's just not what it was sounding like you were saying to me.
Okay.
It was like you just kept putting emphasis on me, women, not listening, this, that, and the third. But at the same time,
Men been here true forever. It's never a point when men don't get blamed for nothing. Never a point here. It's never a point when we don't have to be held accountable. If we fuck up immediately, we got to be held accountable. So it's never a point in history. And when niggas do fuck shit, and you say they do fuck shit, get it. When Derrick Jackson was over there giving women horrible advice and lying all the time, niggas was like, he's lying. He's on fuck shit. But because it made women feel good, y'all was like, yes, he's telling the truth. No, fuck shit. We know fuck shit when we see it. It's not hard to lie to women and tell them everything they need to hear.
but how do you do that without bashing women?
You can't do what is bashing. You tell the truth without hurting your feelings.
No, it ain't about that. It's about projecting derogatory names and all that towards women.
Give me an example of bashing women.
Purely just, like what you said earlier via Facebook. If you don't agree, you're going to say what you said.
They got loose pussy.
Exactly. What's the point what's the point in saying something like that rather than saying, I don't agree with that? That doesn't sound like something that a virtuous woman would say. There's a way of saying certain shit and getting your point across. And still making her reflect on herself. But when you say stuff like that, it makes them want to come back and be, like me, I'm not ill affected. I don't get in my feelings, you know what I'm saying, about having conversations. It's just dialogue for me. I usually make other people get in their feelings.
So you're asking why did I you want to know why I voted that?
No, I was just saying that if.
Okay, so do you want to know why or not?
Okay, go ahead. Explain the why, because I'm sure it'll probably.
Every time I post something that women don't agree with, they tell me I got little dick energy.
Who's the? I'm sorry. That's not funny.
It's fine for a woman to say you got little dick energy. So for me, I say, hey fellas, every time they ain't agreeing with you, just tell them they got little pussy energy. Because and then they can feel what you do to me. And when did you come on there? And my boy literally played you. He said, this obviously went over your head. Because the media reactions are emotional. But it's okay to tell MJ every day he got a little dick energy.
Who? I've never said that to you.
I'm saying you dick but you don't put over there.
I would never stoop that low to even try to, project or try to make something like that about somebody. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody say that to you.
Have you ever seen it, period? You never heard the term little dick.
Considering, no, this is the first time. Like, I've heard them say somebody's giving big dick energy, but I've never heard them so I'm sure they've probably, as a joke, probably implied that on somebody else. I've heard them say something gives big dick energy.
They're trying to demean a man. It's not a joke. They're trying to disrespect me in every way possible. It's not a joke. Don't give them that. Don't give them that grace.
No, I just never seen it.
I'm saying in general, the term little dick energy, the term big energy, it's weird. And you only say it when it agrees with something that makes you feel good. So at the end of the day, when you say it, it's meant to disrespect. So I say it's a problem. You never are accountable for the fucked up shit women do.
Well, how can I be accountable? Because in a lot of cases, I'm not a part of that.
You gonna make an excuse.
I'm just trying to get some clarity and some understanding on why is it put out there like that?
Women don't know how to take any type of criticism. This is why I ask you what is bashing.
Right.
Any type of constructive criticism, women are gonna say it's bashing them because it doesn't make them feel good.
I mean, it's been the same way with men. I heard about male bashing long before I heard about women bashing.
Men get criticized all the time. We get called deadbeats. We treat men in trash. You got shows with Oprah, The View, all this and that, when men make dicks cut out, all that shit. It's been going on for decades and centuries that women can literally say anything negative about a man. But as soon as a man says, I don't want you to have a high body count, that's who's little dick energy. What are you insecure? What are you this? What are you that? And you say it's bad.
I guess I'm saying this, and don't take me the wrong way when I say this, honestly. But maybe I'm looking at it in a way of, I respect you, first and foremost. Most of the time when you say things, maybe the way that you say it, I don't agree with. But most of the time when you say things and make points, I agree 100% with what you're saying. I agree with most of the things you say. But when I look at it, it sounds like to me, and I'm not saying that you are, but women, and I'm not making excuses for women, but typically women are emotional creatures. I'm probably one of the less emotional people in general. In a relationship, yeah, I've got way more emotions invested and put into it. But like even stuff like this, you can say whatever you wanted to say about me publicly, whatever. My facial expression might not change. I probably won't even turn red a little bit. My breathing pattern's not going to change. I'm just one of those kind of people. It just nothing faze me. So when I'm hearing it and it's coming from somebody who speaks as intelligently as you, it's like, what? I expect more out of you. You know what I'm saying? And I know you're probably saying it to prove a point, but for a lot of men who may not be emotionally developed, they're going to take that and run with it. And y'all have to be more of an example for women who don't have control over their emotions to be able to maintain and control women. Because that is your job. And I just don't feel like that is I don't think that's appropriate.
No, it's not. It's not my job. It's not. No, it's not. And if anybody would have came on the phone, everybody who commented knew exactly what I meant by it. Because we've heard little dick energy a million times. We've heard big dick energy a million times. So I know exactly. Always women want to control a man's voice. So y'all can be like, y'all need to be more confident. All right, you do the same thing, right?
Right.
What you said about having sex on the first night is okay if you're not feeling the guy. You think that's good advice for a little 16-year-old girl?
In today's time, they're going to do what the hell they want to do, period.
You think every question?
The thing about it, no, here's the thing. I taught my daughters to be virtuous.
You lose nothing advice. Listen, call it what it is. I would tell a 16-year-old boy to do the same thing. I tell little boys to understand that sex comes with a whole lot of problems. Especially
As you should.
No, but you won't do it.
That's not true.
Just tell the truth.
That's not true.
It's bad advice. Then you know it's bad advice.
No, that's not true. And I honestly could tell you could poll any of my children and they will tell you what they were taught.
So why would I just ask that? Why did you go into a whole other realm instead of saying you're right? It's bad.
What I'm saying that in general, you know what I'm saying? Like all my children, they friends had babies before them.
It means you don't like answering questions. That's what I'm saying.
What you said? Why wouldn't I teach them that? That's what you asked me.
You said my kid, so no other kid in the world means anything. You will come on the podcast, millions of people will watch it and say, I mean, if you want to do it, I ain't going to judge you. No, I am judging you. And I'm telling you.
No, this is what I tell my children. This is what I tell children. Yeah.
And you will say, well, in general, in today's society, no. Give them concrete good advice.
What I would tell them, the same as I would tell like I've told my children. You can make whatever decision you want to, but be prepared for what comes with it. If this is what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna get. I would suggest that you don't do this because you're gonna end up like this, that, and the third. Life is about choices.
It is. So right now, you have an opportunity right now to tell girls you can do whatever you want to. But if you do this, what comes with it?
That's what I would tell them. I would give them an explanation of what comes with it.
I said what comes with it. I need you to tell me what comes with it.
I would honestly tell them, okay, you can have sex on the first date, but understand you're going to be judged. He probably won't talk to you anymore. So you better just go. You're better off just going ahead and just not even talk. Just be prepared to not talk to him again.
Okay.
You'll never probably be considered as wife material after something like that. Don't even look forward to it. However, if you just want to keep him as a sex buddy, then go ahead. That's what you do. But understand, you're gonna go along in life and be unfulfilled.
And you think that's good advice to girls?
What do you mean? It's the reality because they're gonna make their own decisions.
Okay. All right.
I don't care how much I have tried to keeping it all the way 100 and real about everything has been how I have maintained. Like both of my daughters, one's married, the other one is not. You know, but she was with her baby daddy in a relationship with him. You know, things didn't work out. You know, the other one, like I said, she's married. She's got a child. She's, you know, living her adult life. When it comes to my daughters, they waited. They were adults before they had children. They were playing a responsible role for themselves. They weren't asking me for anything. So, you know, I feel like I did good on that part. What I taught my children, you know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, they still make their own decisions.
You told your daughter, if you have sex with him on the first day, you know he's not going to look at you as wife material, but if it's good, he can be a fuck buddy. That's cool.
I didn't say that was cool. I was like, but that's the choice that you make. You're going to have to deal with what comes with that. I said in long term, if that's the situation you have with this person, you're not going to be fulfilled.
What comes with it?
Number one, soul ties. Number two, the emotional attachments that you can't just drop. Because if you keep screwing this person over and over again, this is what happens. You get an attachment to them that you don't know how to get out of sometimes, which comes with a lot of, you know, self-respect issues, self-image issues, you know, sometimes even mental health problems.
What else comes with it?
I've explained all this to my kids. Just, you know what I'm saying? The fact that you know.
If a woman needs good advice right now, what else comes with it?
Depending on what it is that you want in life, that's what comes with it. If you're not looking to getting married, you don't have to do that.
What happened to hot body count? Yes or no?
If that's the only person they dealing with and they had sex on the first night, you know that high body count shit is out the window.
I'm saying, would a man judge her for having a high body count? Would you tell him that?
It's possible, but you just don't never tell them. What the hell?
Why do you tell him?
Why is he gonna tell you how many women he done been with?
All right. How much longer is this?
No, we wrapping it up. This is it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, whenever it comes at the end of the day, why would you tell him how many? If you slept with 20 dudes, By the time you was fucking 30, why would you tell them?
I asked what you tell them a man would judge you for. Why wouldn't you tell them? It don't matter, right?
A man will judge you for it, you just don't tell him.
Okay.
If you've been with 20 people and you 30 years old, don't tell them.
At least you're honest.
I mean, I am gonna be honest.
If I tell a boy, don't believe me, let me tell you. I'm perfectly well within my right to say that, right?
You can tell them whatever you want. You can tell them whatever you want.
That's why I would encourage women to make everybody wait. If I told you today, and you were born today, right now, and I told your father that I would give you $1 million the day you got married, right?
Mm-hmm.
But every time you have sex, I take $100,000 off. Wouldn't you be more mindful when you have sex with it?
Oh, absolutely. Those are some real scenarios, though, but not in America.
Let me finish. Women are born with $1 million worth of value. Treat yourself like that.
Absolutely. But there's always that factor of choices. I agree with you. But the factor of choices, social media, TV, all that stuff, persuade, you know what I'm saying? And some people are going to fall victim. Some people might come to the table with $50,000 worth of pussy.
And is that not making poor decisions?
Hell yeah, it is.
So
but that's what they got to live with, and as long as they were informed.
Born with $1 million value. And it's probably more than that. You know why? Because a man cannot move forward his legacy without you in general. So you were born with $50 million worth of value. And you value yourself. What are we doing here? What are we talking about? I'm not going to tell a woman to give something up, give $100,000 on the first night.
Right. You're right. And I mean, if you look at it like that, you know what I mean? That's, you know, that is something, that's a way to put it, to maybe make people to understand it a lot better. Because a lot of people know, you know, a lot of people aren't teaching their children this and whatnot. And it feels like a lot of times that women are left with the burden of carrying a particular standard of piety and, you know, or righteousness and just the overall standard is left completely on the woman.
Yes, and that's a responsibility coming with a woman. Don't cry about the responsibility coming with a woman. Men are left with a burden of protecting, providing. If everything's about to go down, women and children live. Men are left with the burden of sacrificing themselves all the time for women. We both have jobs. Don't cry about the job.
But women are out here working just as hard as men too. But that's a subject for another time.
If all men die today, society will collapse tomorrow. Y'all don't take hard jobs that are willing. Who's gonna work the oil rigs? That's all the energy. Women are not working that. Stop trying to make it equal, because it's not. You have a job and I have a job. Live fully in your job. All these easy jobs that all women have are created by men to make life easier for you. And then the first thing you say is, oh, women working hard just hard. No, you have a different burden on life. You also have to have babies. Men don't have to have that. That is a totally different burden. You have to literally, that's another thing about sex we don't talk about. Because let's talk about that. Let's talk about birth control, how it alters your hormones, and it can actually kill you. So even risking having sex and taking birth control is something that you're putting your life on the line with. Also, black women are dying having babies, so even having a pregnancy or being pregnant in itself is a burden you're putting your life on the line for. And even abortions, it's a burden you're putting your life on the line for. You're willing to put your life on the line on the first night? Even just get STDs, AIDS, HIV, any of that shit. You're willing to put your life on the line the first night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like that's a smart thing to do. And like I said, typically that's not my way to go. But people are doing it.
They have to see the consequences. consequences. It's kind of like when women be talking all this abortion talking. What if they got raped and blah blah? Okay, cool, whatever. But the reality of everything you're saying is just not a good thing to do. Look at both ends. Oh, her body, her choice. Okay, cool. That's fine. But then have you talked to a woman who cries every time she thought she was gonna have a baby? Like when she had that abortion, every time that abortion year comes up, she cries. Have you talked to women who leave the abortion clinic sick?
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to? You can show them pictures of what an abortion looks like. It's like we only tell the good side or the empowering side, but we don't tell the negative side. And in life, it's the yin and the yang. You will get judged. There are consequences to your actions. So tell them the truth. Again, if I never get married and have kids, I fully take responsibility for everything I've done to women and me being selfish. I don't blame women for that. I made a lot of bad decisions in my life. But women, no. I mean, why does my body count matter? And you don't like all this stuff. Men are telling you exactly what it is, and instead of listening and saying, "Damn, maybe I should be more virtuous. Maybe I should be more feminine. Maybe I should be more of these things." What you do is deny it because you don't want to take that job, and then try to make a man like you for you. Nah, I'm good.
I mean, I feel like go ahead.
You ask the man a question, he answers it honestly, and he have a problem with the answer.
Never. My only thing is I never, when it comes to a person's point of view, I never have a problem with it. Because that's how you feel, that's how you think, you know. I've dealt with that my whole life.
So
I thought differently from the general masses of a lot of people, especially coming through the Nation of Islam. The thought process, everybody agreed with it. Everybody be like, but that's just not for me. I'm not going that route.
Why? You don't like the discipline?
Most people don't like the discipline. Most people don't, you know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of us go in there, we stay for an amount of time, and then we fall out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things about it that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the world just has a different type of pull on you. And
you chose people.
I'm sorry.
So in that situation, you're saying you essentially chose your ego, but you chose ego.
Hold on. I don't know what the world. I mean, if that's how you want to look at it.
That's the best way to look at it, so you won't choose ego.
But there's a lot of background, you know, there's a lot of, you know, more that I could explain about it, but that's not necessarily so.
Our religion is set up for discipline. I'm a Christian. There's certain things I do when I shouldn't have done, and I chose evil every single time. I chose my ego. I'm not going to what's the word I'm looking for? Cupcake around and make excuses because I don't want to feel bad about what I did. I did it and I was wrong.
And I mean, when you can admit that you're wrong, that's when you got a chance to correct it. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And because people have a chance to correct,
You're doing it. You keep making excuses. You don't, like I said. You said that's how you want to look at it. Yes, I think that's the only way to look at everything. If you're not doing good, you're doing evil.
right?
You intentionally do as much good as you possibly can.
But what I'm saying is the point that you were making about, you know, taking accountability and accepting you're wrong in it. That, you know, if that's the way to look at it, that's why it's not okay, in my opinion, to look at someone a particular way because they have a high body count, or because they had sex with you before marriage, or they had sex with you before, you know, and having sex on the first date kind of rolls right into that point too, about sex before marriage, because in every religion you're instructed not to.
So again, then I chose evil. And then I got to suffer the consequences for it.
Yeah, but you can't be so hard on yourself either.
But you can't. The problem is that we're not.
You know what? At the end of the day, ain't none of us God, and to a degree, we should be, you know, trying to emulate his image.
We saw preachers and imams and everything. Y'all encourage people to go to hell because you're scared to hurt their feelings.
No, that's not true. But there's a certain thing that, you know, that all of us, I feel like, that do make mistakes to some degree, believe in forgiveness. They believe in redemption, to so to speak, and all that.
Time.
I'm sorry.
So mistakes, you got the one night stand one time.
Right. One night stands or one night. But if you continuously do it, it's really not a mistake, it's a habit. But even for your bad habits, you still, some people don't know exactly what damage they're actually causing until they end up in, oh, I'm 45 years old, I ain't never been married, I ain't got no kids, and this is what's going on in my life. I can't find a suitable mate because I'm not happy because I done did this out of my life and I got, you know what I mean?
How did you prevent that?
Not having sex on the first date.
No. Tell people the truth.
Shit, keeping your shit to yourself, that's how.
No, what I just said, I had sex too early. I made a long post one day about me having sex too early and have dominated my mom for a long time by wouldn't encourage this on any boy or anything. Tell the truth.
Yeah, everybody should, you have to be honest.
Don't say, well, sometimes we make mistakes, but no, give harsh truth. So people know not to make the same mistakes.
But for some people who don't care, the thing about it is we have to come to a consensus of understanding that everybody has their own life, their own thought processes. This is honestly, and this is for everybody that listens, this is not a one-sided type deal like us against them.
We making it complicated. It is the right and what's wrong. Tell people the truth. They can do whatever they want to do, but now that you know it, you can't make excuses for it.
I mean, the thing about it is, some people will watch this and walk away with convictions. Some people will walk away and feel, vindicated. And at the end of the day, that's what we're producing. I'm not judging anybody for what they do or what they choose to do. However, whenever certain
say that shit. I don't know what that means. I don't give a fuck what they do. If you have the information, you have to be accountable. So Solomon is the wisest man in the Bible. He has 700 wives and 400 concubines. And Ecclesiastes, he comes and says, literally, everything is vanity. Vanity and vanity is all meaningless. Learn God in your youth. He's telling people, you see what I did? I was wrong. So be better. That's all we should be talking about. We keep making excuses for everything.
That's not everybody's conviction, though. That's your conviction.
It's not a conviction. It's not about conviction. It's about literally just.
Oops.